Now, I'm not going to play the whole video because I want everyone to go to James Hodges' YouTube channel, which I'll show here in a second, and actually see the video for yourself. But I will play this portion of the video, and I'll also read the arrest documentation, which is the most important part of this. Now, this guy has a walking stick. He's legally blind, apparently, and it'll look like a gun or something like that. So the cop stopped him walking on the street. Goes, "Hey, what is that thing?" It was a walking stick. And he wouldn't give him his ID because it's like, you were investigating. You see it's a walking stick. Why do you need my ID? Why do you need to run my name? You don't. But the cops escalated anyways. It's a female cop, by the way, so that's kind of important to say. This guy right here is the supervisor. Now watch what happens when they figure out they violate this guy's rights, pull out his ID, run his name. Obviously he's not a murderer or anything like that, but let's go ahead and watch this real quick and you'll see how this gets escalated even further.
Alright, Mr. Hodges. Was that hard?
It's gonna be. I want your name and your badge number.
You know what? Put him in jail for resisting.
There you go. Oh, whatever. Put this guy in jail for resisting. What did he resist? At no point did this guy resist arrest at any point. All he did was, it's going to be bad for you. I want your name and badge number. And what did the cops do? Take him to jail. Oh, take him to jail, huh? Well, I see. Well, let's continue on and watch him. He's going to go to jail.
Okay. Alright, let's go.
And notice how the female cop here, okay, notice this. Notice this female cop knew this was wrong, but she's like, whatever. I get qualifying immunity, whatever. So what? What's going to happen to me? Nothing. That's how these filthy cops think of you. They think they can just violate your rights and you can't do anything about it. I hope this guy sues the ever-living crap out of Florida and this county, Columbia County, which is in Florida. So he's going to go to jail. Now, let's go ahead and read the arresting documentation. So here's the arrest report. Now, focus on one thing here. Once we get to the bottom of this page here, you'll see at no point, okay, that this female cop, whoever did this report, say, hey, by the way, I just had to arrest this guy because he wanted our name and badge number. So on October 31st, 2022, approximately 8:08 a.m., I was conducting a routine patrol in a fully marked patrol vehicle at Marion Avenue and Duval Street. While at the stoplight of Marion and Duval, I observed a white male enter the crosswalk traveling westbound across Marion Avenue when the traffic control device indicated not to walk. Now, again, he wasn't stopped for this, okay? So if they try to add, charges, it would be malicious, obviously. As the man continued to the crosswalk, I observed what appeared to be a silver chrome pistol, which it wasn't, with a white grip, which it didn't have, in his right back pocket. I stopped the man later and identified him as James S. Hodges in front of 131 West Duval Street, which was at the other side of the crosswalk. As I approached James and attempted to identify what was in his back pocket, James continued to turn away from me. So, James indicated that the object was his walking stick. However, he would not provide a clear view of the object. At the time, Sergeant Harrison, who also arrived at the scene. Now, that's not true, because he pulled it out and goes, see, it's a walking stick. I use it because I guess he's legally blind and he uses it when it's dark out. At this point, he wasn't using it, and that's what the cops say. Well, why wasn't he using it? So what? He's legally blind or whatever. He doesn't have to use it all the time. So what's the big deal? Cops can cop-splain anything and everything they want. So it goes on to say, I asked James to provide his name and date of birth. James refused, stating that I had no reason to request this information. James then listed that I was only allowed to request his identification if he was in the act of committing a crime, about to commit a crime, or had already committed a crime, which is true. Now, regardless if she was doing an investigation, she saw it. She thought it was a gun. Hey, look, it's a walking stick. Okay, investigation over. Let him go. But she had to escalate it. This is what cops do. They escalate anything and everything they can to throw your ass in jail. Because for them, it's something to do. Once you put into jail, then they can get like double time or whatever, time and a half to go to court and not have to be on the street to put this guy in more of a jeopardy of his life and limb and his property, his money, trying to fight this, and he should fight this, by the way. Where did I leave off? It says, I again notified James that I was conducting an investigation and requested that he identified himself. Requested to identify him. He didn't say, I order you by threat of, being jailed. I need your... But no, that didn't happen. I wonder why. Oh my God, I swear. Anyways, I was then... So, James again refused, and at that time, James was placed in handcuffs. I was then able to identify the object in James' back right pocket as folded up walking stick. Both silver and white in color was observable as it hung out of his pocket. Again, she, this stupid twat here, okay, failed to mention that he showed this simple walking stick to the supervisor, Sergeant James or Sergeant Harrison, whatever the frick his guy's name is. He showed it to him. Again, I implore you to go on the on James Hodges' website or his YouTube page and watch this video. Give him all the credit. Give him. I hope this gets to 1 million views. I think right now it's at 70,000. I hope he gets more. Next, asked James where his wallet or identification was located. James stated refused to notify where his identification was located. So what? I then conducted a pat-down of James' person and located his Florida ID in his front left pocket. Sergeant Harrison asked James if he was legally blind. James confirmed that he was. Sergeant Harrison then asked James why he wasn't using his walking stick. James looked up at the sky and indicated that he didn't need it in the daylight. Simultaneously, James advised he was using the walking stick this morning as he walked to the courthouse for jury duty. It should be noted that the weather at the time when contact was made with James was extremely overcast and foggy. And maybe he didn't want to use it. Just because you have a walking stick doesn't mean you have to. Maybe he can see. Maybe the point is that these cops are trying anything and everything to railroad this guy. And luckily, it's been in the news, and so we'll read that here in a second. Vehicles passing by still had headlights turned on. Again, who cares? James was found to be in violation of Florida Statute 843.02 by obstructing the ongoing investigation when he repeatedly refused to allow identification of the object in his pocket. False. This is bullshit. Because he showed the supervising cop his goddamn walking stick, proving that it was not a firearm. You dipshit cop. James was placed under arrest for resisting without violence and transported to the Columbia County Detention Facility without incident. Again, remember what you just saw in this video. The cop goes, I want your name and badge number. He goes, oh, whatever. Take him to jail for resisting. He didn't resist an arrest. There was nothing like that. You see, failure to identify is a secondary charge, okay? Give me your ID. Why? I'm doing an investigation. Okay. So the cops can arrest you, I guess, but for what crime? For not giving them your ID? You see, it's different when you're driving a car because you have to give up your ID because you're officially detained. It's all this pisses me off sometimes to trying to go through this. I'm just a dipshit with a video camera here, but again, this is bullshit. The cop didn't. This is fucking amazing. This report of the summary of the incident and the reviewer should not consider this as a all-inclusive or verbatim transcription of all actions or statements made. Oh, that's very, very convenient of you. The entire event was audio and video recorded. Please review it for the most accurate depiction. Oh, we saw it there, you stupid goddamn cops. You scumbags. How dare you? Put this guy in jail. For what? For hurting your fifis? You could go to... And here is the news report of this. Now, obviously, the department's on the case now. They're going to get down to the brass tacks. And they're basically... We've investigated ourselves and found ourselves not guilty of violating any government or station policies or police policies or whatever. So, the morning of this Halloween, Columbia County deputy stopped a man walking across the street with something in his back pocket. Turned out to be a walking stick, and the man is legally blind. Blind. Deputies arrested him for resisting an officer and obstruction. For what? Because he didn't want to give him the ID? Because he didn't break any laws? Just because a cop stops you and demands ID, you don't have to do it. Again, you're playing with, fire here. Do you just give them your ID, or do you, stand up for your rights? And I think you should stand up for your rights, because every time this happens, and the cops, you just give them your ID when you don't have to. The cops think that, well, it's the law. You have to give me your ID. No, not really. No, not really. Anywho, CBS 4 has requested a copy of the body camera footage and the rest. A Columbia County Sheriff's Office spokesman says the video posted online is the complete footage. You can watch it here, James's channel. According to the rest report, the deputy stopped 61-year-old James Hodges because he had something in his pocket, may have been a gun. Hodges objected to being arrested or being stopped, and shortly after, the deputies confirmed he was carrying a walking stick. Hodges refused to provide his ID to deputies while objecting to being detained. He repeatedly refused to allow identification of the object in his pocket, which is bullcrap because he showed it to them. And if they thought it was really a gun, they would have dropped him. But it wasn't a gun. It was a walking stick. These cops are scumbags. Video of the arrest has gone viral online. The Columbia County Sheriff says an internal investigation began last Thursday, but the sheriff did not publicly comment until Monday morning. So here's the comment. It says, we are aware of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office body camera video involving the arrest of Mr. James Hodges on October 31st. Sheriff Hunter is troubled by what he has seen in the video, and the matter is being addressed. An administrative investigation was initiated on November 3rd, 2022. And when the incident was brought to our attention, if policy violations are sustained at the conclusion of our investigation, appropriate action will be taken. While we understand the frustration and concern associated with this event, please know that we are working to resolve this matter as quickly as possible. Whatever. I don't believe these cops that will actually do this, but we'll see. And right here is Jim Hodges' YouTube channel. He only has 3 videos. But the one video right here, you see 71,000 views already. I just watched this a couple minutes ago, and it was 69,000. So it's heating up. James did nothing wrong here. You know who did something wrong? The cops. There's plenty of video and receipts out there of cops doing this constantly and consistently to anybody and everybody that hurts their fifis in any sort of way. Cops are very, very thin-skinned. And I don't like cops, but I understand they're a necessary evil to society. I get it. But this kind of shit, these cops gotta stop this crap. What the hell is going wrong with you guys? You're already having, you cops out there already have a bad rap right now. But yet you make it worse by arresting a guy for what? Hurting your feelings? Said, I want your name and badge number? Take him to jail. He wasn't going to go to jail. The fucking stupid female cop was going to release him. But what did that female cop do? Well, I guess I got to arrest him because my supervisor told me to arrest him. For what? This is bullcrap. These cops need to be put in jail. That's it. They don't need to be scorned and having, a couple of days of duty, removed from, what do they call it, suspended for a couple of days or put on desk duty. They need to be freaking fired. Both these scumbag cops, especially that scumbag sergeant right there needs to be put in jail, or that's at best, I hope, but it's never going to happen. They need to be freaking fired and they cannot find a job in the law enforcement in Florida. They need to be freaking fired. These cops are just the scummiest scumbags that ever could scumbag. I'm so sick and tired of these cops out there knowing full well that they're being video and audio recorded. They still violate your rights. They still do this to this guy. And Jim and James, if I can call you James, you're a freaking saint. I would have been cussing these people out left and right. I don't know if I would have had the mental fortitude, the tact not to get pissed off at, I bet you are pissed off. And I get it. You have got to be a saint, because there is no way in hell that I would have allowed myself just kind of, well, cops are just doing their job. No, these cops are scumbags. I'm not going to say all cops are scumbags, but if you're a cop, most likely you're a scumbag, because you are going to allow this shit to happen. You're going to allow people other cops will violate other people's rights right in front of you, and you don't do a goddamn thing about it. There's no amount of retraining or interdepartmental memo going out there, hey, don't arrest people for just hurting your feelings. These cops, at best, need to be fired. And hopefully they get thrown in jail. If they won't, they need to be sued into oblivion.